Gems, welcome back. It's Jordana. Today we're here to do a first impressions and review of the Jordana Complete Cover Maximum Coverage 2-in-1 Concealer and Foundation. That's a lot of words. But yeah, it's their new foundation from Jordana. I found these at my local Walgreens for, I want to say, $5 each. And I have two shades, Fair Beige and Golden Beige. They didn't have that's number 1 and number 3. They didn't have number 2 or any others in the display. I was lucky I found these two. I am wearing them both mixed together to kind of match my skin, but this is my first time wearing it, so I figured I'd share with you guys my thoughts and how well it wears on a hot Southern California day. It has been very warm lately. Today should be up in the upper 80s, lower 90s. I'm hoping it doesn't get to the 90s, but after the 100 and something over the weekend, I could survive the 90s, you know? So yeah, let's see how well this holds up. If you're interested in seeing how I put it on and how it applied and all that good stuff, then keep watching. Okay, Gems, so I've got two shades here. I have number 1 Fair Beige and number 3 Golden Beige. They didn't have number 2 or 4 or any others. I'm not sure how many the actual range has. I believe it's close to like 6 to 8. I didn't see too many slots on there, but I picked up two. I wasn't sure which of these might work for me or if either of them would, and I already went ahead and just kind of did a test on my skin earlier in the day before washing my face, and Fair Beige works pretty well, but it's a little bit too pale for me right now, and Golden Beige also works okay, but this one's just the tiniest bit too orange. They both tend to pull on the yellowy undertone, so that works perfectly for me, but I am going to go ahead and mix more, like 2 drops of this with 1 drop of the golden. So 2 of number 1, 1 of number 3, so that I can kind of get closer to the shade that I need. So let's hop into it, why don't we? I forgot to do this before, but I'm going to go ahead and prime half my face so that we can test and see how well it works without primer. For those of you guys curious, and I am using my Hourglass Veil, the Mineral Veil Primer. Yeah, bought this a while ago. Works pretty well. It's pretty expensive though, and it's nice, but I'm not 100% sure it's worth the high price tag. And I was returning another item. I think it was the Giorgio Armani like Luminous Silk Foundation that I did not like with my oily skin, and so it was a pretty penny that I was returning. So I ended up getting the like jumbo size of this primer, which is going to last me forever because I have other primers that I use too. But high-end wise, I do prefer this to like the Smashbox. I don't really like the Smashbox primers. I've had a couple of them. I still have the light one. And yeah, those are definitely not my favorites. So, alright. Sorry I forgot to do that earlier. I meant to, but oh well. Itchy nose. Okay, so let's grab a tissue so I can wipe off my hands. And let's get to mixing those colors, why don't we? So, I put them down here. So Golden Beige, I'm just going to do 1 little blob of that, like so. I'll do 2 little blobs of Fair Beige. You guys can see the golden is in the middle there. And I'm really not going to change my technique. I'm going to do what I normally do. We're just going to mix these on my fingers, which I know a lot of people say they put their foundation on the back of their hand, but then you're just wasting product. At least with your fingers you can tap it all on your face. Alright, so right off the bat, I can tell you guys this feels a little bit on the thicker side. Alright. Now on my unprimed side, I'm going to go ahead and use my Beauty Blender because that is my favorite application tool. So I'm going to use the better one on the side that doesn't have primer. The coverage is actually really legit. It's quite nice. It's like a cat hair or something around my nose. Look at my face itch. But, okay, just from having blended this side, eyelash, come on now. There we go. It is quite full coverage, I would say. I have my acne here. Most of the redness there is gone. It even looks a little bit too heavy for me. I've been using very heavy foundations, but so far it looks okay. Sorry if you guys can hear the dryer. I'm sure you can, but it's too hot to close my window. Even though it's early in the day, it's just too warm. Alright, for the prime stem, I'm going to go ahead and use this is a Target Up and Up brush. And we'll see how that applies. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've kind of forgotten how to buff with a brush, because I use my beauty blender all the time now. I feel like I'm out of practice with the brush in general. Okay, that dryer is driving me crazy. It's so annoying. And it's right outside my window, too. Well, the coverage looks about the same, even with the primer. This glided pretty well. I mean, even without the primer, I didn't really feel like I had trouble blending on the unprimed side. And on the primed side, I used there it is, the item that I'm least comfortable with, my brush again, and it went on pretty well too. But I do feel like it's a little bit on the heavy side, so I'm going to grab a tissue and go ahead and just blot, because I enjoy doing that. And I usually do that when I feel that a foundation is a little bit on the heavier side, just to get rid of any excess oils, because I'm already oily and it's already going to be pretty warm today. So yes, I do this in a strange manner. It works for me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see the coverage on both sides before I set it with powder. Okay, so all I've done is zoom you in. This is the primed side. Looks pretty good. The unprimed side also looks pretty good too. Really don't see a difference. Do you guys? Primer. No primer. Even the blemishes on my chin, which have some redness there, hidden pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my usual powder, the MAC Prep and Prime, to set this. I'm going to apply my concealer, finish up my face, and be back to check in with you guys before I go about the rest of my day. Okay, gems, my face is done. It is 8:33 in the morning, and I have quite a few errands to run. I've got to go to the laundromat, got to go to Target, the bank, a few other places. I'm off to grab breakfast first, so because I'm hungry. I don't know about you guys, but I need my breakfast. So I'm going to go do that and do everything else. And I will check in with you guys as the day progresses. I don't know if I'll be able to check in various times, but I will check in a few hours so you guys can see how this is holding up so far. So good. I really like it. I did change my mind about the setting powder. I think I mentioned I was going to use the MAC Prep and Prime. I went with the Coty Airspun instead, just because it's my favorite drugstore setting powder, and I kind of baked under my eyes a little bit, and that one's like super cheap and it's a ton of product, so I use that when I want to bake. So I did do that a little bit today. But yeah, that's pretty much my full face done. Let's get through the day. I will check in with you soon. Okay guys, real quick, so it's 12:21. It's 90 degrees outside. Can you see that? Oh my god, it's horrible. But I figured I would do a check-in because I've been wearing this foundation for quite a bit. So yeah, I've been running errands this whole day. I've been to CVS, Walgreens, Target, and I went out to breakfast. And as you can see, I still have the laundry to do, but I figured why not check in with you guys. So far, I am pretty shiny, but none of the foundation seems to be coming off. I did not apply highlighter. That is my natural highlight. That natural glow. That's what I'm talking about. I figured I would check in with you guys. The foundation's still looking pretty good. I'm not quite an oil slick, but I am pretty oily, I'm not gonna lie. But in 90 degrees, I mean, you can't expect anything different, you know? So, it's not too bad. It's not the worst that I've worn in this kind of heat. And here in Southern California, you get used to the heat pretty quick. So, yeah, that's what we look like so far. Alright guys, I will check in a few hours. Alright gems, so it is currently 3:47 in the afternoon. I put this foundation on at 8 in the morning, 8:30, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So about, yeah, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. About 7 hours worth of wear, and so far so good. I don't feel like any of it has rolled off, melted off, gotten patchy. It's very hot out today. It is 90 degrees, and I ran a bunch of errands. As you can tell by all the bags back there. I hit up Target, Joann's, Walgreens, a bunch of different places. I just came back straight from the laundromat, and it was hot as heck in there, and I was sweating. I could feel myself perspiring, but as I kind of went up to pat my perspiration away, I didn't feel like the foundation was coming off on my fingers, which is always a good sign, because a lot of the times that when you're sweating and you just kind of try to tap your sweat away, you're like, oh great, there's my foundation. But this one doesn't transfer. Don't really feel like it's come off. It hasn't gotten patchy, hasn't gotten blotchy, didn't get cakey. Like I said, you can still see most of the coverage is there. My blush is still there, which is a good sign. My breakouts on my chin are pretty much still covered. I mean, there is a bit of redness showing, but it's not significant to the point where like I'm like, oh great, it came off. Like, no, it's still pretty much all there. At this point I might add some powder or use a blotting sheet. I'm not the type that normally does that, but in this kind of weather you kind of have to do that. But like I said, for this kind of weather, for this kind of heat, I really put this thing through quite a few paces today, and I feel like it held up really well. Even like my nose, where it tends to come off with my glasses, didn't really shift. My concealer is pretty much still there. I mean, I genuinely really like this foundation. Now this side was primed, and I do notice that my pores look a little bit smoother here, but this side was unprimed, and it's really not that different. Like, you would never be able to tell, like, oh, that side has primer and that one doesn't. Like, no one would be able to recognize that there is a difference here. Yes, I'm a bit shinier on this side, but other than that, I mean, that's about the only difference. Both sides held up really well, so I don't even feel like you would need a primer. Maybe something smoothing so that your pores do get smoothed out. This doesn't tend to accentuate them, like it didn't make them look worse, but, you know, whatever help. It never hurts to, you know, use a little bit of a smoothing primer. That's just my favorite. But anyways, yeah, I'm actually really impressed with this foundation concealer for $5. Definitely give this a shot, you guys. Jordana did a really good job again, because their little eye creams were amazing. I mean, they do so many great products. Add this to the list. I highly recommend this. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 just because I feel like the range is quite limited. I think there was only like a 6 to 8 slot display, so they probably don't have very much for darker skin tones, unfortunately, like most drugstore brands. But for those of you lighter, fair girls, I mean, give this a shot. It's really good. If you have oily skin, you'd be surprised by how well it's going to wear throughout the day. And it is a foundation and concealer in one. I do think it concealed my blemishes quite well. I did still use an under eye concealer. That's just my preference. I would have preferred to use something brightening there than, you know, using this as an under eye concealer as well. That's just what I prefer to do. It's up to you. But yeah, highly recommend this thing, you guys. I would definitely give it an 8 or 9 out of 10 because it's long lasting, has great coverage, hasn't broken off, I mean, hasn't really like come off. So yeah, it's held my blush well. I'm actually quite impressed. So, hope you guys found this first impression / review helpful. Let me know by clicking the like button and subscribing. And I'm getting tired. I can't speak. And don't forget to leave a comment down there if you enjoyed as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you have a great day. Bye.